Today we're going to be ranking every single quarterback taken in the 2022 NFL Draft. Currently, they're unsigned free agents. I don't think that'll change. I think the majority of them will sign, but there are possibilities that some won't. There are only 9 quarterbacks taken in this draft. It seems kind of low. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to get into. If you guys are new to the channel and you want to see some more videos like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to follow me on Twitch as well. Links down in the description or in the bio, depending on what platform you're watching this on. I stream almost every single night. And with that said, let's get right into it. Starting off at number 9, we have Chris Oladikan. Oladikan, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so white. Please help me painfully. Chris was drafted in round 7, pick 244 by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his college stats are as followed now. He transferred 3 times in 4 years. He spent 2 years in South Florida, I believe. He spent 1 year in Stanford, and he spent 1 year in South Dakota, which that is the year I will be covering. He completed a little over 62% of his passes, over 3,100 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 picks, and a 149.4 QBR. Keep in mind, in college, QBRs are insanely inflated. Like the perfect passer rating in the NFL is a 158.3. In college, like a lot of the top people average like in the 160s. Like it's so crazy, honestly. The team definitely did not need a quarterback. The Steelers have 3 quarterbacks currently signed to their roster, and while he could definitely compete to be a 3rd string spot, he would most likely just end up being on the practice squad if he ends up getting retained. Seemed like an unnecessary pick here. Now they have 4 quarterbacks chilling, but whatever makes them happy, I guess. Going to number 8, we have Skyler Thompson, who was drafted round 7, pick 247 by the Miami Dolphins. He played technically 5 years in college, had a little over 62% completion, over 7,100 yards, 42 touchdowns, 16 picks, 142.0 QBR, 355 rushing attempts for almost 1,100 yards, and 26 rushing touchdowns. Now, did the Dolphins need to draft a quarterback here? Not really, honestly. The team has Tua Tagovailoa, and they have Teddy Bridgewater as well. So I guess drafting a 3rd quarterback is not a horrible move, but like they didn't necessarily need one. There seems to be a lot of upside for Skyler Thompson. Maybe he can be a dual threat type quarterback, and that is becoming a lot more common in today's NFL, so that's definitely not a bad thing to have. We'll have to see how this pans out, though. Number 7, Brock Purdy. He ended up being the last pick in the NFL draft this year, pick 262. He was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, and he did not have a bad college career. He completed about 68% of his passes, over 12,000 passing yards, 81 touchdowns, 33 picks, a 153 QBR, 365 rushing attempts for almost 1,200 yards, and 19 touchdowns. Great stats on paper, but the Niners don't necessarily need a quarterback also. They currently have Jimmy Garoppolo, and they do have Trey Lance. Trey Lance is most likely going to get the rub at starter this year. If we're going to be realistic, if the Niners aren't able to trade Jimmy Garoppolo, they're going to be starting him for the next year or so, and then they'll try to work on Trey Lance a little bit more. I just don't think there will be enough room for Brock Purdy to really succeed. If Garoppolo gets traded, though, and they end up getting like a different quarterback from a different team, then that could easily be their backup, and Purdy would just end up being a 3rd stringer, which I think he'll end up being anyways. I think they're going to retain him, though, because, again, his stats in college were really, really solid. Number 6, Sam Howell. He was drafted by the Washington Commanders in the 5th round, pick 144th. In 3 years of college, he completed about 64% of his passes, over 10,000 passing yards, 92 touchdowns, 23 picks, a 164.2 QBR, 369 rushing attempts for over 1,000 yards, and 17 rushing touchdowns. He secured himself, at minimum, a backup quarterback position in the NFL with the Commanders. And it might even be a starting job. It really just depends, honestly, on how Carson Wentz does. I don't see Washington taking him out for a while, but if they do end up taking him out, it really wouldn't hurt to check out Sam Howell. Number 5, Bailey Zapp. He was drafted in the 4th round, pick 137th to the New Orleans Patriots. It was 4 in the morning. I was super tired. Give me a... He played 4 years of college, and what a 4 years he played. He completed almost 65% of his passes, over 14,000 passing yards, 135 touchdowns, including 62 touchdowns thrown last season, which is the most in a single season in college history. 40 interceptions, a 146.7 QBR. He was just mostly a pocket passer, honestly, which I can definitely see why New England would want him, because it seems like they have a trend with that. I don't think he'll start. I don't know how weak conferences are in college and all that, but stat-wise, he was one of the best quarterbacks in college football last year, and he had an insane amount. I think he had like almost 6,000 passing yards, too. Absolutely insane, but I do believe he's going to back up Mac Jones. I don't think the Patriots are going to pull the plug on Mac Jones, especially after he led them to a playoff appearance. Okay, let's be real. Their defense actually led them to a playoff appearance, but Mac Jones didn't play bad at all. I mean, hey, bro, he was a Pro Bowler. It was the most undeserved Pro Bowl of all time, but he was a Pro Bowler, just like how Julius Randle was an All-Star. And I'm not going to go on a tangent about Julius Randle, but if he's not off my fucking team next year, I swear to God, I'm going to go to New York myself. Number 4, Kenny Pickett. Good old baby hands was drafted first round, 20th pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers. In 4 years of college, he completed about 62% of his passes, over 12,000 passing yards, 81 touchdowns, 32 picks, a 136.3 QBR, and a 33-16 record. Does the team need a quarterback? Absolutely not. Mitchell Trubisky's their guy. But in reality, I do believe Mitchell Trubisky should get a shot, but I think it's very likely that Kenny Pickett will be a week 1 starter. I can get why they do that. I don't think they should. I think they should give Mitch Trubisky about a month. And if he starts to shit the bed, or if he shits the bed immediately, then put Kenny Pickett in there. I don't know. I guess we'll see what's up. Oh yeah, fascinating tidbit about this pick. This is the latest the first quarterback in the draft has been taken. That's such a wild stat to me. We've had drafts where like there have been 6 or 7 quarterbacks drafted just in the first round alone, and now there's not even like 10 drafted. That's so wild to me. Number 3, Desmond Ritter. Ritter was drafted in the 3rd round with the 74th overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons. In 4 years of college, he completed about 62% of his passes, threw for over 10,000 passing yards, 87 touchdowns, 28 picks, a 145.8 QBR, and a 44-6 record in college. He also had over 500 rushing attempts for over 2,000 yards and 28 rushing touchdowns. Now, did the team need a quarterback? Probably. I would say yes. I think that Desmond Ritter should absolutely start over Marcus Mariota, who they did sign to a 2-year, nearly $19 million contract. I would understand if they did want to check out, see what Marcus Mariota is doing, let Ritter learn from him a little bit. But I do believe Desmond Ritter could be the answer for the Atlanta Falcons, especially after they just got rid of Matt Ryan. They're kind of rebuilding. It's so weird to tell with that team because it really just feels like they're trying to win every year, but it doesn't feel like they're in rebuild mode. It's such an odd franchise. But hey, Falcons fans, you'll probably have this guy literally for the rest of time. He said he is not leaving until he wins you guys a Super Bowl. So I am so sorry. Number 2, Matt Corral. Corral was taken in the 3rd round with the 94th pick by the Carolina Panthers. And in 4 years, 3 of those seasons with 10 or more games played, he completed over 67% of his passes, almost 8,300 passing yards, 57 touchdowns, 23 picks, a 159.3 QBR, 334 rushing attempts for over 1,300 yards, and 18 touchdowns. Now, does this team need a quarterback? Abso-fucking-lutely, yes. They have Sam Darnold and PJ Walker in their quarterback room. I do feel like they're going to start Sam Darnold at the beginning of the season, but if they chose to start Matt Corral, I would not be shocked, and I would not discourage it in the slightest. I love this move for the Panthers. It feels like they might have that guy if they know how to develop him. I do believe Matt Corral could be a franchise quarterback for this team. I love this pick. And honestly, this could be number 1 because honestly, this is a bit of a steal in my opinion. Number 1, Malik Willis. This was a steep drop-off for Willis. Willis was expected to be taken in the 1st round, and he dropped to the 3rd. He was drafted by the Titans with the 86th pick. I'm going to be off of his time in Liberty, which I believe was about 2 years. He did play in Auburn, but he did not start a single game, so I'm only counting the time where he's been a legitimate starter. He completed over 62% of his passes in college for over 5,100 passing yards, 47 touchdowns, 18 picks, 153.4 QBR, a 17-6 record, 366 rushing attempts for over 2,100 yards, and 29 touchdowns. Now for the $1 million question, did the team need a quarterback? I mean, it depends, I guess, on how you look at it. Ryan Tannehill had a stinker of a year last year, but I'm not going to throw the towel in on Ryan Tannehill until this year. Now, if he sucks this year, then yeah, it's donezo. Ryan Tannehill's only getting older, too. It only makes sense for them to draft a quarterback with a ton of potential that can learn from Ryan Tannehill also. Going into the draft, I knew that the quarterback pool was super scarce, but I'm so surprised that Malik Willis dropped, to pick 86. It's so bananas to me. And there you go. Those are my rankings of each quarterback drafted in this year's NFL draft. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you would change, if you wouldn't change anything. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy and you want to see some more videos like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once again, be sure to go follow my Twitch if you haven't already as well. Link it down in the description or in the bio, depending on what platform you're watching this on. And with that being said, that's it for me, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.